Welcome back to the podcast, or welcome if you're new. How are you? I hope you're doing great, and I hope that you're ready for these vibes today. So, today we're talking about setting boundaries. I know we love some boundaries being set. I know I do. I think it's so attractive. Somebody having boundaries set, it just shows me how much they love themselves and that they can truly love me. If you currently don't have boundaries set, you don't know what boundaries are, where to start, this video is for you. Or even if you already have boundaries set and you just need a little help because you feel like sometimes you want to bring them down. Sometimes you feel like you're being too harsh, too mean. Other people are calling you stuff like being selfish, being mean, and just all these names. And sometimes you're like, well, fuck these boundaries. No, 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 no. Keep those boundaries set. Protect your energy, protect your peace, love yourself, because that's how you're going to live a happy and peaceful life. The reason why you're feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, resentful, and constantly putting everyone first before you is probably because you don't have boundaries set. What if the anxiety, the stress, the frustration that you're carrying around isn't because you're broken? It's because you're allowing people access to parts of your life that they haven't earned yet. Boundaries is one of the highest forms of self-love, and learning how to say no will completely change your fucking life. For me, setting boundaries completely changed my life, you guys, for the better. People hear the word boundaries, they think of the word boundaries, and they immediately think of being selfish, that it's being selfish, that it's a selfish act, when in fact it's a self-love act. You might be one of those people. You might think that setting boundaries means that you're shutting people off. You might think that it's being difficult, but that's not what boundaries are at all. And if other people are telling you those things, they're wrong. Boundaries are the standards you set for how you are going to allow people to treat you. Boundaries are basically rules. They're rules for what you will and you will not tolerate. They're the way you protect your peace, your energy, your mental health, and your happiness. And if you're trying to build a life that's peaceful and aligned, boundaries are a must. Because without setting boundaries, you're allowing people to have access to you all the time. Access to your energy, to your emotions, to your mental health. And eventually, you will lose yourself. A boundary is not controlling another person. It's not telling them what they can and cannot do. Setting boundaries is not about other people. It's all about you. A boundary is deciding what you will do when someone crosses the line. Let me give you an example. A boundary isn't saying to another person, you can't talk to me like that. A boundary is when you're speaking to somebody else, it's telling them, if you continue to speak to me disrespectfully, I'm going to leave this conversation. That's a boundary. See the difference? It's not controlling them. It's setting a boundary of what you are going to tolerate, of when you're like, this is the limit, and when you reach this, when you're up here like, I'm leaving, I'm done with this. You're not controlling them, you're controlling what you are going to allow in your life. Boundaries are basically saying, this is what I need in order to protect my well-being. And every healthy relationship has them, whether it's somebody having a relationship with another person or even you with yourself, because you also got to set boundaries with yourself. But that's for another podcast. The healthiest people have the strongest boundaries, and not just physical health, emotional health, mental health, overall health. A lot of people struggle with boundaries, setting boundaries. You might be someone who struggles with setting boundaries, and people struggle with boundaries overall. Setting them, respecting them, acknowledging them, it's wild. The reason why a lot of people struggle with boundaries is because they're afraid. Are you afraid? You might be afraid that people won't like you. You might be afraid of being called selfish, that you will disappoint others. Or let's say you're afraid of conflict, especially with friends and family, because that's where people struggle the most when setting boundaries, let me tell you. And I did struggle a little bit. It was hard for me until I put my feet down and I said, fuck this. Fuck everybody. Because maybe there are times when you just really want to say no. There have been times before, and there are probably times now, and there are times when you should be saying no in the future. So it's time that you start practicing saying no now. You are probably afraid to speak up, and the time to speak up is now, because if you don't speak up now, you're never going to speak up ever. You're going to stay silent. You're going to let other people disrespect you and just walk over you and abuse your kindness. People have probably hurt you before. They're still hurting you now. And they will continue to hurt you until you do something about it, because you just stay quiet. And why do you stay quiet? That's something that you should ask yourself. But I know that a lot of you stay quiet because you're afraid of how the other person is going to react. That's what I thought before. I didn't want them to think about me in a negative way. But how other people see you has nothing to do with you. If they see you in a negative way, that's on them, because you are doing something positive for you. Setting boundaries is something positive. It's self-love. It's self-care. You're afraid that people aren't going to love you anymore. Those people that are telling you something because you're setting boundaries, if they're calling you selfish, if they're not respecting them, they do not care about your overall well-being. Don't be afraid of people judging you for setting boundaries. You shouldn't spend your life abandoning yourself just for the sake of other people, because you will end up being exhausted for carrying everybody else's expectations about you. People who truly love you and respect you will acknowledge your boundaries, will respect your boundaries, will like that you are setting boundaries. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries are the ones that are usually upset because you set them. So think about that. When someone gets angry when you say no to them, if they get mad because you're finally prioritizing your mental health, if they're mad because you are prioritizing your peace, what they're really saying is that they don't like you now because they don't have full access to you. They only liked it when they had full access to everything, your time, your energy, your emotions, all of it. Healthy people respect boundaries. So those are not healthy people. Those aren't positive people. They're negative people. They want you to continue being negative. And that is not your problem. Those unhealthy people that don't like your boundaries, let them be, let them go. One of the biggest reasons of why boundaries are important is because without them, you're letting other people make decisions for you for your life. If you're constantly saying yes because you're worried about what other people are going to say about you, you're letting them control you. If you're constantly sacrificing your happiness because you don't want to upset other people, you're letting them control you. If you're ignoring your needs just so you can make other people happy, you're letting them control you. Like, you only get one life. Why are you worrying about other people's life? Why are you worrying about other people's happiness? What about your happiness? Like, at some point, you gotta choose yourself. And hopefully that some point is now. And it's not because you're being selfish all of a sudden. No, it's not selfish. They see it as selfish because they don't know what self-love is. It's self-love. You are responsible for your own happiness. You're not happy because you're choosing not to be happy, because you're choosing other people's happiness over yours. So what are some examples of setting healthy boundaries? Let me give you some. And you don't need to give an explanation, you guys, for none of them. Just saying no is enough, to be honest. Like, let's talk about with time. No, I can't make it. No explanation needed. No, I'm busy. No, I'm making time for myself today. No is a complete sentence. You don't need to give a whole paragraph, a whole speech of why you're saying no. No, that's all. Emotional boundaries would be like, I'm not available for constant negativity. I'm not responsible for everyone's problems. I am allowed to protect my emotional well-being. With some relationship boundaries, and that's with a partner or a friend or just some other person, family, whatever it is, telling them, I won't allow disrespect. I won't stay in a relationship where I'm constantly being hurt. And that's whether you're being hurt physically, emotionally, mentally, any type of hurt. If you feel hurt, you feel hurt. I won't accept being treated less than I deserve. And just because someone is family doesn't mean that they get unlimited access to you. You can love someone but still set boundaries. Just because you set boundaries doesn't mean that you hate them or anything like that. No, it doesn't mean that you love them any less. It's just like, you gotta protect your peace. Your happiness is your priority. You can care about someone but still say no. You can respect someone, but you gotta respect yourself first. You gotta still protect your peace. So how to set these boundaries? Ooh. With setting boundaries, you gotta see what's making you uncomfortable. What are you currently tolerating that's draining you? What situations leave you feeling resentful, angry? What relationships keep you constantly exhausted? Your frustration is usually showing you where a boundary is needed. So once you figure that out, you have to communicate clearly your boundaries. Be direct. Be honest. You don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to be rude about it. You simply need to be clear and honest and truthful and just say how it is. Then you have to actually follow through, which I think is one of the hardest steps. A lot of people fail in this step. They set the boundary once, someone crosses it, and then they're like, oh, well, fuck it. Like, they crossed it, like, what was the point of the boundary? No. Usually, if you let someone cross a boundary and you don't do nothing about it, you're gonna let other people cross that boundary as well. Boundary without action is just like a suggestion. People learn what you tolerate, and people will challenge you. They will challenge your boundaries. They will think you might be just playing games, that you're not serious about it. They will cross it. You do nothing about it. They're going to keep crossing all the boundaries. They're going to keep poking at you. They're going to keep controlling your life. life. So if someone continues to cross your boundary, you need to do something about it. There needs to be a consequence. It might be ending the conversation. It might be spending less time with them. It might be just cutting them completely from your life. Boundaries are self-love. Don't let nobody else tell you otherwise. Boundaries communicate something very powerful, more than just what you will and will not tolerate. It's saying that you matter, that you love yourself, that you come first. Every time you set a boundary, you're choosing yourself. And setting boundaries changes, you guys. You don't need to stick to the same boundaries. Let's say you set boundaries right now. Those are not just the only boundaries that you're going to live with for the rest of your life. You're going to continue adding boundaries. You're going to keep respecting yourself, and you're going to keep protecting your peace, because you do deserve healthy relationships. You deserve people that respect you and that love you and that like your boundaries, because those people that will like your boundaries are people who also set boundaries themselves. They understand you. Honestly, if you don't set boundaries, you're teaching people that you allow disrespect. You're teaching people that your needs come last. That's not self-love. Self-love is protecting your peace. Self-love is refusing to tolerate things that hurt you. So you do deserve boundaries, because you deserve peace. You deserve a happy life. You deserve a life where you don't feel guilty for taking care of yourself. The people who genuinely love you will respect your boundaries. And the people who don't, they're showing you exactly where they stand. And that's up to you what you're going to do with them. So stop shrinking yourself just to make other people comfortable. Start choosing yourself. Set the boundaries now, because it's time that you love yourself. The moment you start protecting your energy, your life changes for the better. You don't need nobody's permission to protect your peace. You don't need nobody's permission to set boundaries. Stop worrying about what they're going to say, what they're going to think, what they're going to call you. Fuck all that, okay? Do you. I hope that you actually learned something, that you took your notes. That if you didn't know what boundaries were, now you do, and now you know how to set them. It's time that you start setting boundaries. It's time that you start loving yourself and that you start protecting your peace. If you feel like someone you know needs to learn about setting boundaries and what boundaries are, then send them the video. Let them know what's up. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode. I will talk to you in the next episode. Peace.